Yo, YouTube, what up? How is it going? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Music comes back down, and here we go yet again. We're back. I've been gone for a whole week. I know. Most of you guys don't even recognize me, don't know who I am, but that is fine. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Osiris League semifinals, however you want to call it. For season 4, we have, well, not only one semifinal going on here, but 2 matches per realm all across the board. And so GG to all, what is this? 16 teams in this phase, all fighting for that final 8 for finals next week. Some of these, everybody's playing at the same time by the looks of it. Nobody is a 19 UTC, and so you can't watch them all. We're going to keep an eye on the realm of Horus, the realm we're part of, because it's just what we do. It is what it is. Massive shout out to the rest of the teams out here, especially we have a couple that we've noticed in here that we got to see making it through out from all the way in the deep end, like 2070 back here, getting out to the top 4. WIB from Kingdom 846 out here as well. And we have so many more. V636 yet again trying to get that second line across on their on the middle symbol thing, as OV is not here, but 1V made it instead. We're going to watch Song against JST. This is going to be crazy. This is going to be one of the best matches we've seen in a long time, because JST are extremely strong. They're very capable, but they lack a little bit of veterancy, which you have plenty of in Song. The power differential means nothing, because when these guys signed up, they were in KVK and they lost a boops in the process. However, they've gotten half of their troops back at this point, and so that number is irrelevant. That number has at least another billion or so in there, I would say. On Song's side, we have some of the most veteran players, a few Osiris League winners themselves back from 411's good old days. And so Song is trying to make a comeback into this particular realm, which is going to be extremely interesting to watch. And so as the time comes down, I will tell you guys, I did not bet on anything this time around. A lot went down, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put this to the side and do our own thing. I did not bet on anything. However, I would say that based on, I didn't bet on anything, but I would say that JST have definitely a stronger shot than that. I would honestly tell you, I'm mad that I didn't freaking bet, because for me, JST and UCS are insanely good picks. I don't think neither of these matches are as crazy as they seem, even though everybody seems to think 1V will make it to the final over UCS and Song will make it through as well. We're going to have to make one big gamble at the very end and hope and pray, right? Because we got to clear the shop. But with that being said, after we took a beating last week, I didn't even notice we took a beating until way later. But anyway, it is what it is. 34 seconds before we go. Your commentary skills at a professional level, don't waste your skill on this. Try to get on esports. Ha! I wish. Maybe one day. I do like this a lot, but getting into esports is a little bit crazy and hard and impossible at this point in time. But anyway, appreciate the kind words nonetheless. All right, well, 4 seconds remain. Here we go. We're gonna go into caster mode. Let me sip on the coffee real quick. All right. Button. This happens. Don't panic. It's okay. Can also get out, come back in, and it'll load us up. Any minute now. This is fine. Don't panic. There it is. Bam. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Osiris League Season 4 semifinals. Song versus JST. We're about to hit it off 2 minutes before the match begins, and Song's lineup on screen. Moo, Iorless Hulk. Oh my good old friends out here. Shout out to the boys, the ex-JWM crew. They know who they are. And also massive shout outs to the guys in JST. We have some big names in here from the Korean community. And my goodness, I'm actually kind of stoked to see the guys again on screen. Hulk is and Moo and all of them. It's really cool to see them making it into the top again. These guys have been doing this for a while, and they're coming up against a massive team. These guys are not underdogs, but they are new contestants. JST are coming in deep, and they're here to show that the Korean community is here for good, is not going anywhere. They are here to take top placements in the Osiris League, even at the top tier of this game. S0NG had to go through a pretty treacherous ride, and so did JST, knocking out 412, 1008, and so much more. JST versus S0NG. Ladies and gentlemen, Osiris League is a form of Arc of Osiris. It's a very big tournament. Happens twice a year, I believe, or something like that, where we go crazy and play Arc of Osiris every week. If you don't know what Arc of Osiris is, it's this game mode where 30 players can teleport onto one side of the map right there, a team in red, and above you have 30 players on the team in blue, and they go on a 30 versus 30 fight for as many points as possible within 1 hour. The way you get points in this game is 3 ways. Number 1, you occupy any of the buildings on the map for a long period of time. We'll explain that more as we get into the match. Second way is to gather points through gathering caravans. And the third way is to pick up the Ark of Osiris that spawns in the Temple of Osiris. It happens a few times during a match, and we'll get through that in a bit. At the 20-second mark, when that timer gets to 0, all the teams and everybody's going to be able to get out of the gates of hell, which are going to come down, and then first building occupations begin. Those first building occupations include the outposts of Seth and Iset, the obelisks on both sides. Both teams have a mirrored map, which means it's exactly the same map on both sides, and the first 5 minutes of the match are all about grabbing the obelisks and the outposts. Let's see who grabs them first and how quickly do they do it, which skills get procced, and we'll explain to you a little bit more of the meta and of things going on as the match progresses. This is JST coming out of the gates. As you can see, they were lowered down. Both teams are now flying out. And yeah, oh my goodness, we're about to go into simplified graphics, and the game doesn't allow us to get out of simplified graphics, but we just have to get it done. With that being said, marches are flying out. The first occupations are extremely important. The reason for that: the quicker you occupy the buildings, the quicker you get points. Moo hitting us with hard push is what we were expecting before buildings occupations. S0NG have not done that yet. The way buildings work is you hit them, you take occupation of them, and once you hold them for 3 minutes, you officially own them, and then you start gaining points. That's every single minute. For every building, you have different types of buildings that give you different points per minute. As of right now, 2 blue buildings, 2 red buildings are in the hands of both teams. However, I did not see, they did proc it, but I missed it. I did not see that JST also procced hard push. Both teams tend to proc hard push early on, as it takes down a minute of occupation away from buildings, which means instead of having to wait 3 minutes, you only have to wait 2 when it's a new building. And when you're sieging, instead of 2 minutes, it can also go down 1. So you have a situation in here where JST Ralph is now going to grab the top obelisk. Bottom blue obelisk is already taken. Both teams looking very good. The red team below grabbing another outpost ahead of time. This is just setup stage. Nothing going on right now except placing yourself on the map and making sure you can grab your obelisks. The reason obelisks are important: once you click on an obelisk, you see it has this circle area. Once you occupy the obelisk, you gain a certain amount of teleports, and cities can teleport out of the initial zone all the way out to the obelisk territory, and then they can play from there, instead of having to go back and forth from the beginning, which is all the way back here. That saves you about a minute and a half worth of marching every single time, at least each way. And so it's extremely important to grab the obelisks first on and make sure you occupy them successfully, so then people can teleport forward and start doing their thing. And so here we go. Now that all the buildings are occupied, we're waiting for them to be first occupied successfully, and then the points per minute are going to start flowing. For now, everybody's at 0, just placing themselves on the map. While that's going on, marches with heavier troop loads are coming into the Shrines of Wars, into the middle area of the map, which is still not occupied. Those are the Shrines of Wars, the Shrines of Life, and the 4 altars, a desert altar and a sky altar. Both sides have the same exact building configuration, top and bottom. And essentially, altars are the most important buildings in the game. 150 points every single minute for you occupying on any altar. All 4 altars are 150 points each. First occupation of altars is 750 points. From there, shrines, same story, 80 points per minute with 400 points on that first occupation. At this stage, again, nothing is going on. All that's happening is troops are posturing forward. They're starting to make their presence onto the map. This will give you just enough time to understand in a nutshell how Ark of Osiris works, and will guide you through the rest of this match exactly as to what's going on to you. Even if you've never watched Ark of Osiris before, this is where you learn. And so 83 seconds remain in the defense. Oh boy, and Pappy Ross drops a bomb on us, says JST will win. I am not so sure they won't. I'm not going to lie to you. I said I would have bet on them if I didn't not bet. But anyway, JST getting to their own desert altar, and now the folks in blue are aiming more towards their own sky altar. They want to secure that. They want to secure their own Shrine of War. No pushes early on. On the other side, there is a push going on. JST coming in hard on the enemy desert altar. They know they need to come in here early, and they want to disrupt that first occupation bonus, which I mentioned to you guys earlier, by taking this desert altar away from S0NG early on. The team in red right now know that they can put pressure on a blue building and potentially take it away from them for a certain period of time. If this doesn't work, then it was a good attempt. But if it does work, then they can take potentially some points away from the team in blue, even for 10-15 second occupations. The team in blue is essentially going to be losing on points that they're quote-unquote supposed to have. On the other side, the blue team is attacking the obelisk, which is well defended by JST. A nice attempt for the blue team for a sneak, but wasn't successful. While that's going on, blue team is nowhere in an offensive position. They're defending their own shrine desert altar, and it's about to go down. Here we go. As the building gets occupied, blue team successful occupation, and now the red team shifts into the swarm. They want to make sure the blue team does not occupy this building. Oh, big pickup. Obelisk take by S0NG will disrupt JST's teleports, but I'll explain that momentarily because this is very important. The obelisk down at the bottom, taken away from the red team by the blue team, means the red team are going to be a little bit behind on the teleports. They grabbed their obelisk back, which is good news, but now the teleport time is going to reset, and therefore a couple of minutes worth of less teleports for the folks in JST can make a huge impact. JST attacking on the top and grabbing the Shrine of Life away from the team in blue successfully, and then losing it back. But a good occupation for about a minute or so will give the red team a little bit of a points per minute lead, which as of right now they don't have because of the initial buildings. Because they lost the obelisk, they lost the points per minute lead by 20 points, which is what the obelisk is worth. Now the red team is still very hard on this desert altar. Blue team has a big presence here. They're refilling the building. They're comfortable enough to even chase the folks like John Wick. John Wick, you're in the wrong team, John Wick. You're not in JST. Get out of here. Anyway, with the red team still swarming the building, this is not over for the team in blue, whose desert altar is still being aggressed on, but that Zenobia is going to hold, and it's going to hold extremely well. There is a swarm in here. The blue team knows that they have this defense well defended. They even have a second Zenobia coming in to reinforce the primary Zenobia just in case they need to get a switch in here. There's enough presence to refill their building, and so some blue team start gunning it towards the middle, which is what the red team did as well. Once they saw that, this building was taken, some of them said, let's go middle. But as all that's going down, the red team is still swarming this building, and if they manage to somehow grab it away from the blue team, it'll be a very, very, very big pain in the butt to deal with. Hulk's rally on a Zenobia that is about to first occupy buildings. First occupations across the board. Everybody got their own building. We are good. We continue from first occupation bonuses, which are all successful by everybody, into now a big, big, big situation where right now the team in red is ahead by a slight bit just because they took the Shrine of Life away. Once this Shrine of Life gets occupied, 400 extra points for the team in blue will even us back and give the team in red a slight lead, as they are right now not in the points per minute game lead, but they are in the occupation lead, as in they have still not occupied. I don't even know how is that a thing? How are they at 590 with this not occupied? It's just occupied. Okay, never mind. There it is. All worked. Anyway, 5-point lead for the team in red. I was still right that they'll end up in the lead. And 590, 5 points lead for JST starting it off. And all the buildings are blinking. Here we go. Red team about to take away a Sky Altar away just in time. We come in to see the blue Sky Altar fall. While that's going down, the blue team is going against the Sky Altar, the red Sky Altar. It has a huge presence in here. In terms of a swarm, very diverse swarm with archers, infantry, and buffers, debuffers. The red team has a good swarm on the field as well, and they might be able to stop this attack. While that's going down, the red team is also rallying the Desert Altar, which is very, very weak. It wasn't refilled. JST. How on earth they go from diverting everybody to the middle to grabbing 2 altars away from the team in blue, put Jadwiga in a garrison, and oh my goodness, just like that, they take a 300 point per minute lead, and they hold all 4 of the most important point per minute buildings in the game. The altars being worth 150 points every single building. 4 of them is 600 points. On the map in total, there is a total of 1,180 points. Right here, the team in blue took away 80 points from the team in red by taking their Shrine of Life away. But by holding 4 altars, there is 600 points per minute that are potentially going to be flowing into the team in red JST's pockets. And that's more than anyone can get, period. And so Hulk's rally is still going on. There is still a slight swarm on it, and there is a Zenobia in here that is about to get a little refill, which will be all that's needed to successfully defend until the very last moment this rally from Hulk. In the meantime, the middle presence is building up. 2 minutes and 40 seconds until Arc comes in, and JST starts posturing forward a little bit. The team in blue, S0NG, grabbed their Desert Altar back, and now they're rotating as well into the middle. And the folks in JST are recognizing the guys came from the Desert Altar after taking it back are going to be a little bit delayed in this middle. Team in blue recognizing that as well, pull back just a slight bit to not allow JST to push them into a fight too early, as right now there is more JST presence than S0NG presence in here. While that's going on, Sky Altar is being defended well by Jadwiga, that is getting swarmed and rallied right here. It is ticking for points for JST for a little while, which is how they're so far ahead in the points per minute game. But this is going to go back into S0NG's favor momentarily. They're going to get their buildings back and more because they have the Shrine of Life as well. So at this point, technically speaking, the points per minute game still is in JST's hands. But once all these points, all these buildings secure back into the favor of S0NG, they are going to end up ahead in the points per minute game, but not that far ahead. Right now, the fight is all about middle control. From here on out, it's all about how much presence we can get into middle and not have anyone nearby buildings. This is why for S0NG this is so successful. So many marches are now being diverted into getting a building instead of going into the middle. And here comes hard push. Here come the drop skills. Here we go. Hulk hits with the mystical for defense, right? Something like that. Anyway, here comes the bomb. These guys are coming in hard. I'm seeing a lot of Artemisias. There is a War Drums by Hulk as well being dropped. War Drums by JST too. And add to that mystical formation and things are going wild. We're seeing both frownies on both sides in a very, very nice shape or form, but a little bit more reds in here than blues right now. The middle grinder for the blue team is looking very successful so far, as I'm only seeing red frownies. 1 blue frownie, 2 blue frownies finally come out to life. There they come, and now they come in big masses. It was trickling down reds for a little bit, and then now it evens out to blues and reds at the same time. Red March is still coming in here, and so are the blue ones. Buildings are back to even grounds, and even with a red team contesting for both the Shrine of War and the Desert Altar of the blue team, which we're going to have to keep an eye on. This fight is for all the marbles. It's for the early lead, which, by the way, the team in red has by 800 points at this point in time. A 3,000 point arc is about to spawn in 15 seconds, give or take, and it looks like slowly the team in red are stabilizing. I'm seeing a lot more blue frownies than I'm seeing reds now. There's a lot more blue presence going away than red, but there is still both teams have very strong presence. While that's going on, The Shrine of War is being secured by the team in blue. The Desert Altar is being secured by the team in blue. And the Shrine of Life is being secured a little bit by the team in blue. A little bit of a danger right there, as that could be 80 points per minute out the window. JST in red grabbed the arc first, and they're starting to gun it back. They're marching it home. They don't even care. There's blue presence here, and the blue presence is coming in hard. They're hitting the arc carrier. It's about to go down. This arc is not going to move too far forward. This Trajan drops the arc. Here we go. Who picks it up next? Is this going to be a delay tactic for S0NG, who are now going to try to pick it up just to delay another 10 seconds? They can do that, and by that allowing more of their marches to get here to the middle. Let's see who picks up the arc, and the arc is picked up by the team in red yet again, and they're gunning it. They're gone. Blue team can get more people to drop this arc, but they are going to need more presence here. The blue marches are trickling in, but there's way too much red presence in here, and I am fairly confident we can call this a successful middle take for the team in red, who now have the arc, gunning it home, and they're on their way back to defending buildings. They're on their way back to the routine. They know they have the middle in the bag. First arc goes red team's hands. 3,000 points and a 600-point lead still in the points per minute game as we go back into the open field fights, into the building takes, into the gathering situation. We have right now the folks in JST trying to still take the Shrine of Life away from S0NG, and the Shrine of Life is holding well. It even has reinforcements coming in and out, which is good for them. They've managed to hold this long for more blue marches to get here. In the meantime, this red rally on the Sky Altar was very dangerous until this swarm got here and managed to secure things and handle business, because it seemed for a bit that Zenobia was taking a beating. While that's going down, blue team launched every single rally in the human existence. Here we go. Zhang quit. I didn't know Zhang quit. Anyway, S0NG attacking everything. They have a rally on the Shrine of Life. They have a rally on the Desert Altar, which was very well handled. They know exactly how much to milk that cow and keep that rally going. While that's going on, the defense on all the rest of their buildings went really well, and now they're starting to go on the offense. Some open field marches coming in as the Desert Altar rally is on its way, and it's a cavalry rally coming in. A lot of open field swarm late, though. This is going to be problematic. If S0NG choose to swarm the rally quickly, they will then allow the isolation of both the rally and the open field swarm. So for S0NG, focusing on the open field is actually a mistake. It allows the open field marches to make it to help the building and to help the rally. The rally is going to do a lot of the damage. You really want to focus on the rally first and wait for if you manage to take out the rally even before the open field swarm gets here, then your Zenobia has a much better chance. But now that push forward and that push back allowed the folks in JST to get a little bit closer. There is enough presence by S0NG here to take care of this rally, but there's also a big open field presence now here by JST coming in for the Desert Altar. We'll come back there momentarily, as there's also big presence here by JST and S0NG in the in the Shrine of War of the blue team, and it is going down quickly. There's a big field swarm in here. Let's go take a look at the Sky Altar as well. That is getting hit by a rally, but there's the swarm taking care of the rally, so building is secured. The blue team now has a big presence in here. This rally seemed to have been very well dominated. It is about to go down, and with it, the open field swarm, it's just going to keep swarming away, because all they need at that point is just to refill the building, and they'll be set and good to go. S0NG, on the other hand, found a weakness in JST's defense, and that is this Shrine of Life. They consistently keep hitting the Shrine of Life and taking it away. That is Moo, none other, with a rally lead and 2 other marches. He's found the weak spot, and he keeps taking it. This is right now a 3rd time the Shrine of Life is going to be taken away from JST. They might just be able to make it through, but Rara, instead of going in the building just to delay a little bit longer, is hitting in the open field, and he just couldn't hold. If this march went in for a split second, and yeah, was he that? No, he could have switched it very easily, and then this would have gotten in here. Oh man, a slight mistake by Rappa. You're better off putting marches and allowing more marches to come in than to say, oh, that's infantry, I have cavalry. Take your infantry out of there. Stick it in there. Take out the cavalry later when more infantry get there. That cavalry would have been everything they needed for that Zenobia to make it into the building. And so blue team take indeed the Shrine of Life, like we mentioned, and they are defending both their own Desert Altar very well, and now they got to defend their Sky Altar, which is facing a similar situation as before. There is a rally coming in, which was hit already, and some open field marches both in here and around. Hulk using hard push. He knows they want to get some buildings in this siege up top, which we're going to go take a look at in a second. And he wants to make sure that when that happens, they will absolutely, totally, for sure, have a shorter timer. What happened to the arc? The arc is being held by the team in red, who are now 800 points in the lead and have an arc that they can hold for another 10 minutes, give or take, without even defending or doing anything with it. It's just chilling at the top obelisk, as you can see. Now the team in blue is in trouble. They need to figure out how they take the points per minute lead and how they can get the folks in red to have to secure this arc. Essentially, the team in red right now have the points lead and a 3,000 point banked arc. And that is a huge problem that you don't want to deal with in the later stages of the game. And so what they need to do right now is they need to gain as many points per minute as they can to force, just like you see right there, JST to escort the arc. Now that the arc was forced, there is the 8-minute timer to yet again try to do something about this. But at the same time, SONG are losing their own buildings. JST with a hard hit on this Sky Altar might be successful at taking away this Sky Altar from SONG. And if that happens, big trouble for the team in blue, because now they're going to need a middle, and they're also going to need to stabilize their points per minute game. They're about to lose a Sky Altar, a very, very clutch last-second refill by 2 marches, managed to hold for a little bit longer. This could be good for a little bit more reinforcements to come in, but I don't think there's any more in here. Bam! A little bit more came in just last second. Oh my goodness, that last clutch, and there goes the Zenobia, there goes everything else, and JST take a Sky Altar, but at the cost of their own Desert Altar, which fell in SONG's hand. So a good trade, a stabilizing move, and still SONG in the points per minute lead, even though they're down now. What you would call that? 2,800 points? 3,800 points? Right? Am I crazy? 700, 800, 3,800 points. Now SONG is pushing forward. They're going for the obelisk. They're going for a city. They want to suicide their marches. They have plenty of marches that are red and not 100%. They need to start making moves towards the middle. So for SONG, they've accomplished what they wanted. They wanted the Desert Altar. Now they're about to go suicide their marches in order to make their way back to middle. While that's going down, JST is like, we're not about that life. This is actually crazy. I cannot keep up with the action. Everywhere we look, there's buildings blinking, and we got to keep an eye on them because they're changing hands. Pororo coming in now with Jadwiga into the building. Garrison change momentarily, and now Cavalry Garrison on this Desert Altar. And the team in red yet again trying to stabilize the points per minute game. And as I say that, the blue team take the Sky Altar away from the red team. What is going on? Why are these buildings changing hands? Pika about to drop his Jadwiga into the building, and that is going to be very problematic. Both teams take each other's altars at the race for the middle. 6 minutes before the middle begins, we have now JST trying to hold on for dear life against SONG's attempt to take the Desert Altar back. The same can be said about SONG, but they're doing a much better job, although JST have a rally on this building already. So buildings are about to change back hands into their normal owners, kind of, because JST have a huge defense on this Sky Altar, which is getting rallied and mega swarmed as well. All these buildings are literally just going to exchange hands. None of them might even hold for any occupation points, but it works in favor of the red team, who are down, though, 190 points, right? 230 points. My math not working today. 80 points now. It keeps changing. I can't even anymore. 80 points per minute behind. They need to catch, oh my goodness, 230 30 points for the team in blue. The red team needs to stabilize this. They cannot allow themselves to make it into the middle with a points per minute deficit. But as I say, stabilize, they lose their own obelisk, which is a huge, huge problem. Things are happening all across the map. This is weird, chat. I don't even know at this point who is doing what. I think both teams are completely in awe as to what on earth is going on. How are we losing our own Sky Altar but taking their Desert Altar, and then holding their Desert Altar but losing our Sky Altar? These guys are doing crazy stuff. JST are this close to securing that building, and they do secure it for a split second. Someone made it in, and even though the Garrison captain got kicked, they made it in for 2 seconds worth of points. Hey, the red team grabs some points, but blue team now in a very, very, very good position to overtake the red team, as they have 2 altars that have not taken points for them yet. They need to defend the Sky Altar, which is giving them points at this point in time, and they need to defend it very well. If the blue team manages to keep holding the way they are, and it looks like they will be successful, they might take a very, very substantial points per minute lead, which will indeed give them a huge opportunity to come back into this match. Chat, if you're enjoying the stream, I urge you to not forget to drop that like and hit that subscribe down below, as I usually pay attention to the match, but not to you guys in the comments and all that. I appreciate all of you who chose to watch us today. Don't forget to drop a like, share this with your teammates, alliance mates, whoever's watching ARCs, to come watch this, because I can tell you teams are improving live, making it to top 8 performances and stuff like that just from watching our stream. So here we go. We can take a quick sip of water and see how JST get out of this situation, because S0NG is about to take a pretty big lead. And here it comes. 590 points every single minute in the favor of the team in blue, who are now behind by a mere 3,000 points. That'll go away within 6 minutes. The team in red, though, are like, nah, it might go away in 6 minutes, but we're going to grab an arc, and you guys are going to be in trouble. And then the team in blue is saying, well, we have 3 minutes to get here. We still got plenty of time to come fight you, and you have a problem because we are going to get the points per minute. So as long as we delay you, your own arc is not going to be worth that much. And I can see that you're trying to sneak our Shrine of War. We are here. We are making our moves. It's okay. You are not going to sneak this out. It is completely fine. This building has 1 march in it, maybe, a Zenobia, and 2-3 marches that are ready to get in if it gets hit. So blue team, major presence coming into the middle. And while JST is posturing forward, the blue team has a much bigger presence in here than the red team even recognized. And to make matters worse, the blue team have most of the map ticking for points for them at this point, and this is big trouble for the team in red. They're still not even taking their own obelisk, which, by the way, S0NG can grab and use teleports out of it and come out here, but we're going to have to see how this works out. S0NG in a rally against JST's Desert Altar. Very strong rally by Hulk. You don't want to mess with Hulk. Man, Hulk's rally is killing the Zenobia. Can anyone come in to help? Yura is coming in with a march, but not enough. This is going to be big trouble for JST, who might lose the whole map, but they are posturing ahead. They're not going to let this go down. S0NG are like, screw this. Wait, maybe not. Wait, is this a troll? Are we going in? Are we going out? There we go. Defensive formation dropped. JST backing down. They're draining time away from the skills of their team, of the other team. This is actually very well played. I really dig this fallback. It's going to cause the team in blue to have to march forward. All the timers, I mean, that's a 5-6 seconds worth of skill out the window, which, hey, that's a slight advantage right there. I like what JST just did there. Very cool little trick or move, or even unintended. That was very solid. I liked seeing that. And now the big fight is on. JST with Mystical Formation and War Drums down. The folks in S0NG, Mystical Formation only. In the meantime, the buildings game has evened out, but the points per minute haven't just yet, as the team in blue has all their buildings ticking for points, while the team in red still has a bunch who haven't. War Drums dropped by Hulk now, a little bit late after the folks in red are already starting the grinder. We see Hulk flying home, and more blue marches coming in here, but I'm seeing a lot of blue frownies at the same time, some red frownies as well. So don't call this just yet. 56 seconds before the arc arrives, the points per minute game have evened out, although the team in blue are still making 200 points, as the team in red hasn't finished occupying all of their buildings. So still a close of a gap. We were at 30-some hundred point lead, and now it's less than 2,000, as the team in red are still in the lead. But they're really going to need this arc. The team in blue are doing everything they need, and that is they need to have the points per minute lead at all time, the more they can, because they need to get points going. Your heart is broken. There we go. Whose heart? Where? Why? How? I'm confused. Anyway, I'm seeing frownies from both sides. While that's going on, buildings are blinking. We're going to go take a quick peek at the Desert Altar, which Hulk has now been stabilized against, and it doesn't look like he'll be able to take it. At the same time, slight swarm by JST here, and the rally is not in the most incredible health, but there's a slight swarm hitting it and swarm in the building. There are marches coming in here to refill and resecure this building and make sure that it doesn't lose or exchange hands by any shape or form. The Shrine of Life, though, is not looking that good. The Shrine of Life has a bigger presence. The red team grabs the arc. Here we go. The arc is marching backwards. The arc is marching backwards. Nobody can stop this arc carrier, who is just gunning at another Trajan. Just marching backwards slowly and steadily. His health bar is now getting down. So there are some blue marches finally finding him and hitting him, and he's going down. He's about to fall. And there goes the Trajan. Lost control of an arc by JST, who own the field here. Yet again, there is way more of them in here left than there are blue marches. And by Lord, S0NG are in trouble, because now they've closed down the gap substantially of the points in here. They're about 1,700 points behind, but this is the 3,500 point arc, and they can't keep allowing the gap between them and the other team to keep growing and growing and growing. That's not the point. They need to figure out how they slow down the growth and then gain a lead because it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to kill the middle or do anything in the middle. JST are solidly controlling that middle against the folks in Song, who now also lost their Shrine of Life, which we expected based on what we saw going on out here. And Song are coming back to now resecure that. A little bit of trouble in Paradise. JST taking 80 point per minute lead and a second arc back home. With less than a 2,000 point lead, they're about to gain back and grow their lead yet again to about a 5,500 point lead. And now, less than 30 minutes left in the match. This is not over just yet. Here's the thing. Song right now have 30 minutes in which they have to solidly take the lead in the points per minute game. They've shown that they have the capability of dropping enough bodies of JST out the window to take a huge lead. At some point, they were even 590 points per minute every single minute in the lead. They have 30 minutes to try to make up a 5,000 point gap. And the worst part is they got to pray that the team in red doesn't recognize the fact that they're very, very good in the middle. And I'll tell you why. If the team in red right now hold the arc, there is a slight chance that there's only a 3 arc match. That's it. Because if they hold for 10 minutes, there's going to be 18 minutes left in the match, and then 8 minutes till the next arc, 10 minutes left in the match to secure an arc. So the likelihood of there being a third arc secure is possible. As you can see, these guys are doing it in less than 10 minutes, but it's not something that you necessarily want to happen. And so for the team in red, they really want to score this arc now, because they've shown that they can take middle away from blue again and again. For the team in blue, the longer the arc is delayed, the more likely it is that there is no more arc, which is a bigger chance for them to come home and come back into this. For Song, they're praying to God that JST hold this arc. If JST don't hold this arc, then in 2-3 minutes it's going to be occupied, which means 25 minutes, and then there's going to be 13 minutes left more. 18, 15, something like that minutes remaining to get a third arc into the match, and that for JST is fantastic. So let's see if they recognize it. They recognize their strength in the middle, or they want to play it safe and they want to keep their lead, try to do the points per minute game, and then yoink some points at the end. It's all a matter of how much you are secure with your position. If the team in red is very, very confident that they can keep taking that middle away, they want one more middle to solidify their victory. Because if another arc comes in, a 4,000 point arc, and the team in red is going to grab it the same way they've grabbed the other two, then there is nothing the team in blue is going to be able to do to come back into this. The lead in the points per minute game is not big enough, and there's not enough provisions on the map to get you back to where you got to get to. So for the team in red, grabbing arcs right now, because they've evened out the points per minute game as well as they have so far, is the way to win this match. For the team in blue, they need buildings, and they need buildings quick. They need the arcs to be delayed, and they need to allow there to be enough points per minute generation for themselves. Now, if they do what they're doing here, which is go forward with a rally instead of, or even ahead of a rally, instead of holding on to their own desert altar, which seems like it's doing okay, but if it falls, this is 150 points per minute being generated right now through this building, that even if you take it back, it's going to take 2 minutes for the security of this building to lock in, and then for you to start gaining points per minute. So I don't know why Song just left their own desert altar at the misery of JST, but maybe they thought that they have just enough people in here to keep refilling the building. We're about to find out, because it doesn't look very good for this desert altar. There is a massive siege, like I was saying, by Song, though. They're about to go for every single red building in existence. They want to make sure that before the team in red even recognizes what's going on, they're down 4,400, 500 points per minute, and they have to come back into it. Here's the first take. Desert altar taken away. And that's a points per minute lead right there by 100 points, which is going to grow much, much more. Looks like some Song people managed to come back and refill this building somehow. This was extremely sketchy. This was extremely sketchy. But it seems like whoever's the architect of whatever on earth happened here was extremely picky and knew exactly how many marches he needed and how many numbers. And I don't know, because somehow this held. So good for the folks in Song, who now have 3 altars back in their collection. They also are about to take a Shrine of Life away from JST, who just don't have anything they can do in here to secure this building. Nobody's nearby. Big swarm in here. Rally still hitting here. This building is going down. Sky Altar, Rally hitting it hard. Swarm in here as well. Big trouble. Double swarm by both teams. A defense swarm and an attack swarm. But the attack swarm is stopping the defense swarm from swarming the Rally, which is the most important thing the defense swarm needs to do in the early stage. The Rally is doing its damage on the Sky Altar, and when the team in blue do what they're doing now, which is converge onto the building, now there's a big problem. There's a pretty decent Rally hitting the building and a swarm. Now, your defensive swarm has a bunch of targets they got to hit at the same time, while earlier it was only one target, that Rally. And so the defense by JST losing a little bit of focus, and they're going to have to refill this building. They might lose their Sky Altar. It's more than likely going to happen. Collecting buildings are Song with 2 more buildings to go. They lose their own Desert Altar at the end of all this debacle, though, which is actually kind of hilariously funny that they actually lost their building. But it was almost perfect. It was almost perfect. They're still in the points per minute lead by 210 points every single minute. But they need a lot more than that. 23 minutes remaining in the match, and an arc still in play for the team in red, who currently hold it. It's not there. It disappeared. It's closer to somewhere red, and they can take it whenever they want. And so this point per minute lead is important for the team in blue, who are now down 2,500 points every single minute. Super chat available in Israel. That's cool. That's new. Thank you for the 15 shekels, Roman. And definitely you didn't distract me at all. But anyway, Sky Altar being defended very well. Song know they need these buildings. While that's happening, though, JST take their Desert Altar back, and they attack back with the Sky Altar take from Song. Just like that, in a split moment, these guys go from almost being ahead by a lot to 60 points per minute in the lead, but they're in trouble because once all the buildings lock into everybody's favor, the team in red is going to end up ahead. And just like that, the folks in Song hit push, and then the folks in JST grab and push back. They just pushed them right back. They held and pushed back incredibly well. They lost buildings and lost a few moments worth of occupation and points per minute for sure. But by securing their own buildings back, they made sure that Song doesn't get the points. There is 3 stages of points generation in Ark of Osiris. Either you're making points, either the other team is making points, or neither of you is making points. When either team is occupying a building, neither of you are making points. So you are always gunning to be making points, and at the worst case scenario, for nobody to be making points. If the other team is making points, that's bad. And so what JST did is they recognized Song took away points that were JST's, and they did not allow Song to be able to hold on to them for long enough. And now look at this. These are points that are supposed to be generated for Song, but instead JST are generating them. So this is no longer just holding for neither to get any points at all. At this point, the Desert Altar of the blue team is now generating points to the red team. And the red team is grabbing the Sky Altar and holding on to it. They keep refilling it. In 9 seconds, the blue Sky Altar is also going to give points to the red team, which is going to be extremely problematic. And as this is going down, we got to keep an eye, ladies and gentlemen, as the defense of the Sky Altar is about to fall. All the altars, though, are red. JST pushing back and pushing back badly. This defense on the Sky Altar finally falls, but JST securing the rest of the map. While that goes down, 2 altars are ticking for points for them, so they are past that 500 points per minute, and they're in the lead now again. JST taking away Song chips, and everybody's coins were on Song. And I wish I had streamed yesterday and told you guys I've gone all in on both of these, half and half on all these underdogs, because JST is about to take Song out of Osiris League. 20 minutes remaining, 6,000 point lead. Arc is indeed secured, so there's going to be one more arc to go. And Song are in trouble. The timer is up. 7.5 minutes for Song to figure out how they're getting points. And not only that, they're going to need to get an arc now, because at a 6,000 point deficit, 4,000 point arc brings them back to a 2,000 point provisioning war. But they cannot allow, by any means of the imagination, JST to score another arc. So it's not that Song can just focus on getting points. They now need to focus on getting points, figure out how they're getting middle, and worst case scenario, how red is not getting middle. While all that is going down, they need to figure out how they're provisioning to not be, snoozing and losing. 20 minutes remaining in the match. And if you guys are enjoying the cast, don't forget to slap that like, hit that subscribe down below. Everybody and their grandma is casting this, and you guys chose to watch this stream. I appreciate you all very much for choosing to watch us. Drop a like again. Let your alliance mates, your discords, wherever it is, copy and paste the link. Send it to your friends. Be like, yo, Gecko's going hard on this cast. There's another one coming up in the next match. We'll be casting that as well, so make sure you come back for that. UCS against 1v. JST are still holding on. JST are still holding on. They're still in this building. How is this building still holding? Finally, it goes to Song's hands. And the points per minute game stabilizes a little bit. The red team now only 90 points in the lead, but still in the lead. And their lead is growing. It's up to 6,500 points. Very, 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 very big problem for Song. It's not over by any means of the imagination, but Song needs to start securing buildings and going for middle at the same time. They're doing that really well at the bottom, though. Desert Altar taken away from JST. That is points per minute lead back into the teams in blue. 60 points per minute is not enough, but it's a good start. If they manage to hold on to this Desert Altar, it'll be 210 points per minute. So it is even nicer like that. For the folks in blue, though, the dream ends as JST take their building back instantly. At least I guess the team in red isn't growing in points better than that gives a slight lead still for the team in blue, who are now sending marches again to the city to suicide into it so they can go back home and make it into middle in time. While that's going down, a select group said, let's turn back and try to take this JST Desert Altar back. Nobody came in here to defend it. And, you know, I would have appreciated more seeing these guys killing themselves trying to take the Desert Altar back than not. And, I mean, they could have probably gotten it done. And if not, they would have taken the Desert Altar away from the team in red, which I don't see that as a bad thing. Instead, now, Hulk and Raid are trying, but they're not. There's just not enough firepower in here. I bet you some of those marches that were in there, though, could have done the trick. So, buildings secured by JST yet again. The Sky Altar, just Song cannot hold on to it for nothing. They keep losing this building nonstop, and it's a huge problem for them because it is gonna cost them in the points per minute game, again down by 90 points, and they're not gonna be able to grab all their buildings back and come to middle in time, which is in 4 minutes and 30 seconds. They're starting to make some presence known in here, and they've done this in the past. We know they've done this in the past. But the folks in blue really need to send everything. And they have a problem because they're behind in the points per minute game. And with 17 minutes left, there's probably going to be a 10 to 15 minute arc fight just to get this arc done. And in that time, points are being generated for the other team, which technically speaking now they're ahead of, but they're not going to be ahead for that much longer. Once all the buildings secure for the team in red, they're going to be ahead. Another 300 plus points is going to put them way ahead. So for every moment that goes by, the team in blue is not going to be generating, is going to be losing their lead even further. The team in red is going to generate more. And at the same time, you might lose the middle at the end of all of this. So I don't know. I don't know what the play here is. It is a very, very tough scenario for Song to come back from. I can tell you that much. And to make matters worse, they're not ending it. They're not going to let it go. They know that they need to get their points per minute back and they need to get their buildings back. But JST left enough presence here just to be a nuisance. This rally is going to get swarmed down, but the swarm that is going to swarm this rally down is going to be nothing after this. And so all that they did is they left a little bit of strength here to keep holding, to just keep holding. It's the same thing as Song's earlier suicides into the cities that I mentioned to you all. What they did there, this is pretty much the same thing except that Rappa, instead of suiciding into a city, stays, wait for the attack that comes into the building, and then takes the building or takes the building back or just keeps hitting the actual target. And so red team very much in the lead in the points and in the points per minute game, in the buildings game. They've got everything going, and now they have the ground. They have the upper ground in the middle. A lot of them are coming in. They're about to take away a Shrine of War from the team in blue, who really don't want to lose a Shrine of War. If JST and they're in red take the Shrine of War, they need to attack in the middle now, because they're going to take a 5% attack and defense away from the team in blue. And even if that's for a few moments and that's it, if you engage in that fight with those 10% worth of stats less for the team in blue, that's not good news for the team in blue at all. We're holding on to this building by the skin of their teeth, and people are passing by, not caring. Here comes a full Zenobia to try to replace the old one. Can the full Zenobia get in time? It's going around the building. Can we get it in? Yes, it does. And here comes the Zenobia defense to keep holding even a little bit further. But JST have a very big swarm in here, and they have open field marches in here. They have everything they need. This guy right here about to get another march into the building. By the looks of it, a Cao Cao comes in to defend the building, and so comes Yemen's Artemisia. And so building gets a little bit of security. Trouble for the team in red. Trouble for the team in blue. The fights are about to go down. Here we go. The engagement, the fake engagement. JST are getting them to fall back. S0NG are not going to proc their skills. They're not stupid. They know what JST did last time. They're not going to fall for it. This time they realize that these guys are going to fall back, and they're using this just to get a push going. They're getting people to hold their ground, and those that held their ground are going to get a massive swarm going on. And here is the engagement. This time, it looks like JST got caught with their pants down, but to the death proc. They're like, nah, we ain't getting caught nothing. With to the death on the one side and S0NG not proccing a single skill yet. Very problematic for the team in blue, who engage in the middle and have no skills on. No mystical formation. Look at them. And then war drums. To make matters worse, the team in blue is just to the deathing now. Mystical formation by the JST and S0NG. Mystical formation too, but half of your marches died. Oy vey, what a mistiming of skills by S0NG, who are not only behind in the points per minute game, they're down by more than 6,000 points, and they're about to lose this middle to what seems to be a very miscoordinated set of skills. To the death against nothing means your side of the fight gets smushed, and then proccing to the death later, and then the mystical formation app. It gave JST that slight lead, that slight little set of stats that just murked the team in blue. And now that the arc is here, there is more blue presence in here than before, but there's also a tremendous amount of frowny faces on the blue team going home. And I don't see that many of them coming in, as now some red marches are getting chunked back down, and the blue team seems to be doing a little bit better. The problem is the arc is on red hands, and it's going. It is gone. Now the blue team has to stop targeting marches. They have to target the arc carrier. While that is going down, the folks in red are targeting the blue marches, who are now going after the arc carrier. Now that the arc carrier drops, the blue marches are like, what do we hit? What do we hit? In the meantime, they're getting smashed by everything. Grabbing an arc is extremely important. Again, blue team has to gun it on the arc carrier. While that's going on, everybody else in the swarm, you hit this, you hit that, we hit this, we hit that. Next thing you know, nobody has a clue how we got to this point where 10 marches were hitting the arc carrier. Next thing you know, everybody is getting frownied home. And that is how you lose a middle fight. And S0NG in big trouble, huge trouble. There's 12 minutes remaining in the match. And the crazy thing is, another arc won't be possible, but there is time for JST to play around with this, and they can keep baiting S0NG even further into this middle fight, and S0NG might bite. If S0NG keep pouring marches in here, instead of trying to get points anywhere else right now, they're in big trouble. They're down by almost 7,000 points. There's a 4,000 point arc going home for the team in red, and there's 11 minutes remaining in the match. The points per minute game has been pretty much all but done. S0NG have not been able to maintain a good lead for a long time. Now the question is, where do you get points? They need to stop JST from gaining points. They need to start provisioning out the wazoo. Look at all of these marches doing, well, on their way to do something, but doing nothing right now. And while that's happening, they're losing points per minute every single minute, as the team in red is ahead of them by 50 points every single minute. Their lead is going to continue growing aggressively. And what do we do from here if we are in S0NG? It's not very easy to come back from this, and I don't think it is even possible to come back from this once this arc goes in favor of JST. If the arc would go in favor of the team in blue, there was a possibility to come back into this match. But at this point, even a 7,000 point lead with 10 minutes remaining is extremely tough to take away. At this meta, at this level of the game, even if JST was not provisioning at all, and S0NG have been all the time, there's just not going to be enough points for the points to even matter in this situation right here. At best, S0NG might have been able to get close enough to maybe have like a 500 lead out of all of this. But Grabbing the Ark and securing it now means that even when Song did not gather, gathered like crazy and JST didn't a single thing, there's still going to be major winners both in the buildings game and the points per minute game, as well as in the middle game. And they don't need to really care for provisions, but even if they have one March provisioning out there and Moo with hard push, he knows he needs to get buildings as quickly as possible. But with enough marches out there, okay, and plenty of time left, if JST choose to right now provision and say screw the rest, there's absolutely nothing Song can do to win this match. Because the only thing that's left for Song to win in is the provisions, but the more JST provision, the less of a bigger point generation there will be from Song's provisioning. So it's just like, at this point, it's all said and done. I don't think there's any way out of this. A cheeky obelisk steal by Song and then dropping the Ark in there would be completely legendary. I mean, JST don't want to close this in a dirty way. They don't want to lose all their buildings and get it to be a very close match and then deliver the Ark, and that's that. They want to secure their buildings. They want to maintain their lead. They want to maintain the points per minute lead, which now is even for both teams. And they really want to make sure that they close this game properly. The Ark has been dropped. Well, it's been captured and then dropped and then captured again. It's about to get dropped again for no real reason. It doesn't help this guy at all being here, but it's okay. Ark delivered. 8 minutes remaining in the match. 11,000 point lead for the team in red. And the team in blue is exactly doing what they need to do. And that is they need to defend their own buildings, and they need to take their enemies' buildings, and they need to be all over the place right now. They need to gain points, and they need to gain points quick. But the problem is that with 10 minutes, 8 minutes remaining in the match, they're going to need like 1,000 points every single minute. And there's only 1,180 on the map. So as long as the folks in JST even have 300 points and the blue team has all the rest of them, let's say less than that, 220 now. There's still less than 1,000 points every single minute for the team in blue to get, which means that this match, ladies and gentlemen, puts JST in the finals of the Realm of Horus. The question is, how badly will they get it done? They're getting it done very well by taking a Sky Altar back away, tit for tat for the buildings that they lose. They're making sure that the team in red the blue doesn't get away with too many points per minute. They know that they just got to take away the points per minute, baby. And that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. They're like, you want to take this building? Well, you're going to take this building away from you. You have 2 buildings that are ticking for points. So we're going to just take another one right here really quickly, 80 points per minute, or at least try. There is now 2 altars for Song, and they're about to get a very, very nasty hit coming onto one of them as their own desert altar is about to be sieged. At the same time, great defense on the bottom side. Both buildings very well secured. Team in red is just not going to let this slip. 7 minutes remaining in the match. 11,000 point lead. 11,300 point lead for the team in red. 7 teleports available with the strongest player with 165,000 points. The MVP of this match indeed being, as funny as it sounds, the person that everybody suicided into. Yep. On top of being an extraordinary player for their team because everybody suicided on them, they got free points. That's kind of funny and entertaining. And Heaven's Grace, Insatiable Desire, being used by Hulk. 6 minutes remaining in the match. I don't know if you can gather enough in 6 minutes, but they're literally sending everything they can towards provisioners because why the heck not? You might as well try to get those extra little points before the end. Where are you headed to? Oh, so you're a garrison. I got you. So you're going to garrison the Sky Altar, right? As soon as your team takes it right now, you're going to be available to get it, right? You're only 60 minutes away from the building. But that's fine. As long as there's a garrison captain nearby. You might as well stay home. You didn't save that much time. Man, get a little bit closer. Thank you. Anyway, going back to the buildings game, JST take away the Desert Altar from Song yet again. Points per minute in the lead for the team in blue, but not enough. Nowhere near enough. The red team lose their own buildings. Well, they go grab the blue team's buildings then. It is. And now they're trying to grab their own buildings back. And it's just a back and forth of buildings. But it works well for Song because as long as the team in blue is the one who keeps making points, stops making points, essentially the one that is in the back behind by 10,000 points, the team in red doesn't care for points. They just need to stop the other team from making them because they're securing all of their lead almost from Ark of Osiris. In this match, 10,500 points went to the team in red for Arks. Guess what? That's roughly their lead. They would have been behind 500 points without Arks. And so they played an even points per minute game, or they might have provisioned a little bit less and won the points per minute game. But they recognize that as long as they get the middle, they don't need to care too much about the buildings game, but they cannot allow the other team to get away with it. So they keep doing these kinds of things. They take the building away, put a garrison, and come get it. And now, while you're trying to come get your own building, we're going to get ours back. And we keep doing this back and forth. And as long as we keep doing this back and forth, it means that it's equal ground no matter what. It doesn't allow the one team to grab more altars than the other. Anytime one team had more altars than the other, the red team had them and the blue team didn't. And now the blue team take their sky altar back. But guess what? The red team is about to do the same exact thing. And so this cycle of timings was dictated by one team. And that one team was none other than JST, because they were leading this match the whole time. They knew exactly what they were doing. They knew every single time S0NG hit them and hit them hard, because they did hit them and hit them hard. They knew how to react to it. They first of all went for their enemies' buildings, grabbed them back because they knew they were low on defense, made S0NG focus on their own buildings while JST focused back on their own buildings. And these constant trades between these two teams allowed JST to take the lead and win this match through middle fights only. Now, when provisions come into play, and they will come into play, this lead is going to come down. I don't believe that maybe JST has been gathering just as much as S0NG have, but I'm more than confident that S0NG will have a little bit more of a provisioning presence than JST has. However, JST doesn't care, because they know that in the new meta, 3 arcs cannot be beaten by provisioning, which in the last season they could have been. In this season, it's just impossible to beat 3 arcs with provisioning alone. And so the whole strategy of JST forever has been fight for the enemy's buildings. If we lose ours, not a big deal. Let's focus on getting their buildings secured in ours first. And then we go back to our buildings. While that's going on, hit the middle hard with everything we got and hope and pray. And they've been doing it really, really well. They've been timing every single one of their pushes. They've been timing every single one of their cycles. You can see right after the security of this desert altar is done, they're now pushing for a attack back, because they know that there's an attack coming on the sky altar, a desert altar, a very big attack. They're about to lose this desert altar and give it back to the enemy team. So they need to react in some shape or form. And they react by hitting the Shrine of War. While that's going on, they're already hitting the sky altar with one rally. Everybody shifts to take this one rally out. No open field presence in here at all, because everybody else is focusing this way. And so JST constantly keep putting in this pressure, which S0NG was never able to get off of. And even here, there's a massive presence by the team in blue. They even have a rally coming in here when the rally's not even going to be able to hit this building, because there's a swarm just all over it. Watch the rally rotate around. Look at that. Look at that rotating rally. Merry round to go goes the rally right there, until one of these swarmers dies off. But none of them are going to die off. So this rally is just going to rotate around. And one of them died up top, and now it rotated back to the top. And guess what? Building taken. That rally did nothing. But anyway, this is JST's gameplay right here on this particular match. And they've done it extremely well. S0NG a couple of times were ahead of the game, and it seemed like they had grabbed the it seems like they would have grabbed they grabbed the driver's wheel for a bit. And don't get me wrong, S0NG for a bit had their hand on the wheel. They were the ones leading this. They were the ones driving the game for a moment. And then JST just grabbed it right back. And so it is a little bit of a problem. It is a little bit of a situation. S0NG migrating out after this match. Not joking. Mu and Hulk will migrate. Okay. Well, good for them. Anyway, they keep hunting for the one team with which they'll be champions of Osiris League. Maybe one day. But for now, skills being dropped everywhere. We're seeing buildings blinking everywhere. 40 seconds remaining in this match. And the match is down to less than 1,000 points. It's about, 95 points, 9,500 points per minute. A little bit less than that now. The folks in blue are still bringing in more provisions. Both teams are bringing provisions, but it looks like the team in blue is bringing a little bit more of them, like we anticipated. 45, 7,500 point lead for the team in red. 19 minutes remaining in this match, and this is just done, right? Like, at this point, a little bit of a bigger lead is going to go for the team in red. And in 10 seconds, chat, let's get some GGs up in the chat. And don't forget to smash a like before you leave. Appreciate y'all watching this stream today as we are about to call GG. JST makes it to the finals. Song eliminated from Osiris League. Everybody's dark horse. Everybody said these are the winners. Well, this finals might just be Koreans versus Koreans, with JST doing formidable work against Song. As you can see, they won in the points per minute. They didn't win in the points per minute game, but they didn't lose in a big fashion. They lost by about 1,000 points. They definitely got out provisioned. 8,000 points from Song by provisioning is extremely good. A 1,500 point lead there as well. But there's nothing you can do when 10,500 points go into the favor of one team worth of arcs and you don't react to it. Not enough buildings presence, not enough. It's just not enough. Not enough at all. And Song eliminated from Osiris League Season 4. Lots of more kills on their sides. A lot more heals on JST's side too. There have been a ton of occupations. As you can see, 46 to the 38. The folks in red just nonstop with the occupations left and right. But really, the ARCs played the game. The ARCs played the game, and the way they did that is by simply making sure that when both of these teams are extremely close on two parameters, the third one is the determining factor. And so JST moves into the finals, and we are about to take a 50-minute break until the next match begins. We are going to JST unit healed. Yeah, we looked at a 12 million. We are going to take a 50-minute break, and then we're going to come back for the 1v versus UCS match. Chat, I appreciate every single one of you who watched this stream. Don't forget to smash that like. Hit that subscribe down below. Come back in 50 minutes. I'm about to post the stream. Make sure you're here because the next match is going to be just as exciting. Thanks for the coins, JST. I'm kind of mad that I didn't bet. Damn, I should have bet. I wasn't even... Anyway, chat, take care. Have a good one. Peace. See ya in 50 minutes. Be back. We'll be here.